Good, I think, yeah. Good morning, Bhavan. I think we all are hello
Morning,
almost.
Ali.
Morning, very good morning. Yeah, so I think almost all of us are here. Let's go ahead. So, let me share my screen. So, today we will be doing more on the Java side, but yesterday we did lot of things, functions, methods of the string class. Remember? Hope you remember. How to reverse a string, total number of characters, how to check whether the string is empty, how do you convert a string to an integer dot parseInt, and switch case and string one equal to and equals. So the difference between equals and equals dot equals and equal to. So that compare the address, whereas the second next one dot equals contains the value. Okay, so today we are working on the fifth day of Java. So we are going to work on interesting things. Static block, static methods versus non-static methods. Can static method call or use or access any non-static variable or methods? Abstract class and interface. See the differences. How many differences we have. Then how do we sort a list of strings? There are two ways, collections.sort and list.sort. Then string buffer and string builder. Yesterday we were discussing a little bit about it, but today I'll go and show you how. I have written a small program also to show you a difference to performance test, how the performance of string builder is better than string buffer. So that program also I'll execute and show it to you, and then I will introduce to collection framework today. So we all know Java's core is collections frameworks, which is this tree, right? And then what is the difference between collection class interface and collections class? So more on Java, which is very, very important. Let's go ahead and start with the static block. Right, so let's open Eclipse and create a new class, static block. Right, so static block is a block which is at the class level, this area, which is in blue color. If you are able to see the area, this area, before any other methods start, right? Main is starting here, and you say, suppose I have a variable also, integer a equal to 10, right? So these things all come under static block, right? So these are class level things, class level methods, class level variables. So the difference between this is non-static, and this becomes static, right? Got it? So the area between just below the class is called a static block. It is executed before the main method. So earlier in, I think in Java 1.2 or 1.3, they introduced a concept where Java main method is compulsory, right? So without main, we cannot execute the program. But before that, there was a possibility that we could have called any other thing, any other method before the main without the main method. Because a static block is executed before the main method. Just remember that. Say, for example, I am printing SYSO here, right? This I will delete, and not the method. I'll just write a SYSO. Why it is showing a method? Let me pick it from the previous one. You just want to print something, right? So I want to print something. What it is saying, static block. So what it is saying, see the error. Multiple markers at this line, syntax error or tokens misplaced constructs, static block, delete this token. So since this is a static block, right, we cannot have it like this, right? So what we have to do, we have to write a method. So what you will do, say pub void static method, and then inside that I will execute this. See what will happen now. This is before main method static block. Now inside main I'll give another print inside main method non-static, right? Let's see whether we can or so this is a static block method. This is the non-static, the main entry point of our execution. So these are all. See, public static void main is also a static method. Remember that. Public is a public method. Is an access modifier. It means anyone can access this method. Static is a static method. Void is the return type. There is no return type of main, and main is the name of the method, and it takes the list of strings as arguments, right? So before main, can we execute any method? I just want to show you in the using the static block, right? So let's run. Debug as Java application. See what happened. Did it go? Did it execute? So it has directly gone to main method, non-static. I mean to say it is also a static method, but I was showing in the static block after the class, this area, I have put a method, right? So whether that will execute or not, anything inside that area, right? Before main, will it execute or not? So how will you do it? So that's the core concept of static. Static means your Java, I told you before 1.5, it was possible. So now after 1.5, they introduced a concept that the execution will always begin with main. So directly it is coming to main. But if there is a method here, right, and there are some variables, integer, static, to static int x equal to 100, right, or static string city equal to Belgaum, right? So whatever strings we have, whatever data we have in the static block, right, we don't need any objects to call. So it is directly accessible without any object. So just remember this. This is static block. No objects required to use the variables and methods. This is variable. These are two variables, and this is the method. So now I will say call inside this. Okay. Let's see in some main. Can I call this? Can I? And if outside main, can I? What it is error it is showing? Cannot make a static reference to a non-static method, right? So since I have not declared this as static, in static block, whatever you do, it should always start with the word static. And it should be first this and then the return type. So void public static void. Now what it is saying? Duplicate, right? Because here also it is saying duplicate. Duplicate method, static method in the type static block. Rename the method. So now let me delete this. This was coming showing as duplicate. Now see, I am able to call the static method which is there in the static block without any object. Right? Suppose I have any other method. Say public M1. So I have another method which returns void nothing, just a method M1 and say SYSO. I'm printing static method. Non-static method, sorry, this is a non-static method, right? So I am trying to show you the difference of this static method and this M1. So now I cannot call M1 directly. Here, the difference. Because this is a static method in the static block, so I don't need an object. But this is a non-static method, right? So I have to use an object to access this. So how will I do? I'll create a class. What is the name of the class? Static block. So static block S1 equal to new and then static block brackets stop it. And then using this S1 variable object, then only I can call M1, right? I cannot call directly, but the static method is inside the static block because it also starts with static. See, the method name is this one, and it starts with the word static. The variables also start with the word static. This also txt variable also starts with the word static. So those all things are under static block, this area. And then to access them, we don't need any variable. The also see SYSO city, right? We want to print city, right? Here I am directly able to call the variable city without any object. Method also, variable also. But any other non-static methods, I am not able to access directly. If I don't use an object, if I say directly call me M1, it will say non-static. See, cannot make a static reference to a non-static method. So you have to either convert this method to static or use an object, right? So that's the difference between static and non-static. So let's execute this. Very simple concept, static and non-static. There are two things. Static is before the main method. If we put a method or a variable, right, those are static. But you have how to make them static? Simply they cannot become static. You have to use the word static before them, whether it is method or whether they are variables, right? Now once they are static, we don't need an object. We can directly call like this, and methods also and variables also. But any other non-static method in the class like M1, there is M1 method, right? This is a non-static method. We need to create a variable for object first of that class, and because of that encapsulation, right, we know encapsulation what it does, it holds everything inside objects, right? So it encapsulates, puts a cover around it. So because of that concept, Java is not allowing direct access to any data or variable, data methods or variable. So only way is to use objects. So using an object we can access. So now I am going to just execute this. Let's see. See, it did not go into main first, right? Okay. It has gone to main. See, it has printed non-static block, right? It has printed the main method, but then when I am calling this, it has gone here, right? So this is the debug point of this. This, when I mouse over and go declaration, it goes here. So now it is going to static block, and then let me execute line by line. It executed the static block. So for it entered execution point is main. It entered inside this, printed this line. Now static method, anything inside the static block we can access directly. So it is able to print the this statement, right? And then what it does, then it comes next. See, first entered the execution using main, then it entered the printed this, then it went to static method without any object. It has gone here, and then now it has come back again into the main to print the city Belgaum. See, it has printed, and now I am calling this method. So this method also will be called non-static method. So the execution completed. So what happened? It entry started with main, then it went to non-static method without any object. Directly we are accessing both method and variable, right? Static method is a method inside the static block, and then we are able to access the city variable also, which is inside the static block, and then it comes back and executes the remaining method M1, which is non-static in the, which is after main. Got it? So the order of execution is all earlier, before Java 1.5, we were able to execute before main also. There was no requirement of main. If I remove this main completely, then also I was able to execute. But they made mandatory later on. They found some security loopholes because of that. So they made main mandatory. And then, though main is mandatory, the variables and functions in the static block can be accessed without any objects creation. And then the non-static methods are, obviously, there is a rule, non-static methods are accessible only via objects. So we created an object S1, and using that S1, I am just calling the S1 dot M1. So this is the method, right? Anything, if you have a variable also, say integer c equal to 2000, right? So this also, if I have to access using object only S1 dot t, right? So it will automatically give you S1 dot c, but we have to you have to show it to the user. So syso, and then use it inside this, right? S1 dot c. So the very base of static and non-static means static is a block in the class, right, apart from the main. So now main is the entry point, so execution starts from main. So when the main is executing, if you have to use something which is there in the static block, you don't need to use an object. You can directly call them. And other things which are non-static, right, apart from main but non-static, there is no word called static before the method. See here, this integer c is not static because it does not have this word static. Always remember, static always has to start with static word. So then only it becomes static. Otherwise, it becomes non-static, right? So these are non-static methods and variables. So we need an compulsorily one object of the class S1. Using that object, we can call the method M1, print the variable value C, right? So all these things will happen. So if I run now, it will print the value 2000, which is here, right? So this is the static. Now, there is one more thing called abstract. I will go to abstract class. So this class, if you see, this is a static, this is the name of the class, but this is not an abstract class. What is an abstract class? Abstract class, we'll just create one more new class, abstract class, right? What is an abstract class? Abstract class, static we got, now we are going to abstract class. Abstract class is a class which as 0 or greater than 0 abstract methods. So I'll tell you now what is an abstract method. So abstract method, what is abstract method? Abstract method are those which do not have the body. So say for example, public M1, right? I created this method, but then I don't have anything. I have no implementation, right? Abstract, right? Public abstract M1. I am not doing any implementation inside M1, right? What it is saying, return type of the method is missing. Yeah. So I'm not doing the implementation. So if you don't have any body inside the method, it is just the name and some data types. Say sometimes I will say only use one integer, right? But I don't know what to do with this integer. See abstraction, the object-oriented concepts, right? Abstraction is there. Abstraction means hiding the internal details. It will hide it. So what it does, it will not show how, what and how. It will only say that it is doing, it is a method. It will just say it is an abstract method. Abstract methods are those methods which do not have body, just a template, just a logical form. And whatever child class, if I have a child class which is extending this abstract class, so it has to implement the body of this method. If the child class extends this abstract class, then the child has to mandatorily implement the M1 method, the abstract method. It has to have the body then. But abstract class does not mean that it has to have only abstract methods. It can have non-abstract also. So, right, this main is a static method, but non-abstract. It has the body, right? It is doing something. That's why so say some implementation is there. Non-abstract. So this some operations the user can perform here, but this becomes a with a body. This is the body, obviously, right? Main has a body, but then the M1 method does not have a body. It is just the implementation template that my name is M1 and I am taking a variable X. So it will not say more than that. Now, when the child has to and the child class which extends this class, it has to mandatorily implement M1. Then inside M1, it has to give some steps, some uh, implementation or some body it has to give. Otherwise, again, the compiler will throw an error saying that your parent class abstract method you have not implemented. You have to implement it. So for non-Java or non-technical people, it will be little difficult to understand, but just try to uh, take the gist. The gist is we heard about static, that is the type of method, but this is the type of class, right? Abstract class. So what is abstract class? Abstract class is a class which has more than zero or more than zero abstract methods, non-body methods, right? It may not have. So I have an abstract class, I may not have the abstract method at all, but I am an abstract class, right? So zero or more than zero. So, but the rule is any child class implementing the parent class, which is abstract, should mandatorily implement the abstract methods. Implement the abstract methods. So the rule is, let's remember this: any child class or subclass, we also call child or subclass, extending the A abstract class should mandatorily where is mandatorily mandatorily or compulsorily or should, right? mandatorily. Let it be. Yeah, this is the correct. Maybe I'll correct it. Mandatorily implement the abstract methods of the parent class, parent abstract class, right? So it means they need to provide the implementation to provide the body of those abstract methods, right? So they need to provide the method. Just this is basic. I mean to say, for an automation engineer, they may not ask you to write, okay, go and show me how do you implement abstract methods, how do you implement the like calling of an abstract class, extending an abstract class, and then calling it. They will just ask you, can we? The question would be, there is an abstract class, so can a child class not implement the abstract methods of the parent class? So you have the answer is no. If a child class is there, then the parent class abstract methods needs to be implemented by the child. It is the duty of the child. So the duty of the child is you should listen to parents, right? Because the parents think good about the kids. Similarly, abstract class is parent. So now any child which is extending abstract class, they have to obey the parent. They have to say that, okay, I obey you, my parent abstract class. I will implement or obey and implement the method. So the duty of the abstract, no, this child class is to implement or provide a body to the reason is, see now, uh, car is a class, right? Now if I start implementing all the methods of car on my own as a parent, right? Say for example, I accelerate, right? So now if I say this class that I was giving a name, right? I'll just give a name car. Now if I have there is another public void accelerate, right? Now if I implement this method on my own, then I have another method. These are all real time implementations, right? Say breaking, right? Everything if I only implement, right? Now I'll say reverse, right? One more would be say parking, right? So there are four methods. Say the core methods of car, four methods. If the parent implements everything on its own, it means the child class, say BMW or Maruti or Kia or Mercedes, right? Those which are extending this car, they will have to use these implementations for given by the parent. They are forced. So what is new they can do? They cannot do anything new. They will again be the same car, right? So the liberty is given to the child. Okay, kids, I will tell you the method names, right? But I will not implement them. You guys implement it. So they will remove the body. They will just say, I have these names, but please implement them on your own way, right? Please implement them. So these are the four methods the car class says are abstract methods, right? abstract method. These are abstract methods, so you have to use the word abstract before them. So that is why I think this is saying error. The method requires body instead of a semicolon. So, and this should not be inside main, right? So it should be, these are all methods. And where is the class? Okay, class also is missing, right? And then you have to now public abstract void abstract, right? So what it is saying, void is an, okay, yeah, return type also it will not say, right? It will give only the name, only the template, right? And then what it is still saying, the method requires a body instead of a semicolon, two fixes, add body, change to abstract. So now if I am doing it, I have done that. So why it is, what it is still saying, abstract cannot be resolved to a type. Make car abstract. Okay, yeah, because the class also needs to be abstract, right? So now it will work. See what it is still saying. The return type of the method is missing. Change method to void. Okay, right? So now we can see that these three things, it is giving the template. So I'll use the same for all four. All errors we have to resolve. Never get panic. Whatever error comes, we have to resolve it. So now what happened? I did not declare the class as abstract. That is why those errors were coming. So I was talking about abstract class, but I forgot to declare the abstract class as abstract. So I have declared now the car as abstract class. So I may have 0 or more than 0 abstract methods. I have them. I have 4 abstract methods, right? Right. Main is not an abstract method, but I have a, this is a method called concrete. The method which has body is called concrete. Concrete means solid body, solid class. It is a permanent method. Whereas the methods which do not have body are called abstract methods. So they have to be defined as abstract. So now what I was telling, car is a class which has 4 abstract methods and 1 concrete method. So parent class is saying, okay, I will implement main, but I will not implement my abstract methods. You guys, you are BMW, my child, you are Maruti, my child, you are Mercedes, my child, Hyundai, my child. You only implement your acceleration, you implement your braking system, you implement your reverse system, you implement your parking system. But please implement them. If you don't, right now, one class I have created. Now let's go ahead and create a child class here only, right? So what we will do, I will just use this format here and I will create a, so it was car, right? Now I will give a BMW. This error also we can remove because the file name is abstract class, but here I change to car. So what I will do, I will mouse over and I will say rename file to car.java, right? So now it is duplicate here. Now I will say BMW. Error will also go now, right? Public class BMW. But why it is not allowing 2 classes in the same class file? Because that's the restrictions put by Java. So what you have to do, take it out, save it, and create another class separately called BMW, right? And have a main method and come here and say I extend. See now here I have not extended till now. How do I extend the parent class? Extend word. Extends car, right? Now I have extended car. So what it is saying, the type BMW must implement the inherited abstract method. See, I have just created the child class BMW, but it is throwing error immediately. It is saying you are child of car and car has 4 abstract methods: accelerate, reverse, parking, and one more, right? 4 methods are there. Can you please implement? So now we have to, so if you mouse over, it will say add all in the unimplemented methods. See, automatically our methods we will get. So I will implement my braking now, BMW braking, my acceleration, my reverse, my parking. So this is how your abstract class, which is parent, which has 4 abstract methods. Now, since the child is implementing that abstract class, which is a parent class, right? Forcing, Java is forcing the child to implement or give the body to the ab- abstract methods. So they have to provide here. Right now, we will implement it. Say SYSO. Just this is a SYSO is not the actual implementation in real life. They will have some steps, right? They will have some steps. So this is my BMW brake acceleration. BMW acceleration, right? And this one is, I'll just copy paste. Interesting, right? BMW acceleration, BMW braking. Any questions, any doubt if you are having? Simple thing, abstract parent. If you are extending your abstract parent, please implement the methods, abstract methods. You cannot just be quiet. You have to implement. That compiler is, JVM is forcing you. Parking. So I have implemented. Now I am the child of my abstract parent. I have implemented. I have done my duty. I have implemented the accelerate class, accelerate method, the braking method, the reverse method, and parking method. So the real life scenario is car, which is the parent, is not make like implementing everything. It is giving in liberty to the kids. Kids, you are my kids, but you have the liberty to do what you want, right? But these rules you have to follow. These are my abstract methods. You do in your own way. See, I might do drawing as a parent in a certain way. So drawing is one method, but my child may do drawing in a different way, right? He might do sketching drawing, he might do watercolor drawing, or he might do oil painting, right? So the type of drawing that my child will do would be different. I might be interested in some other type of drawing, but my kid, I'm giving the liberty. Okay, you have to be independent on in your life. You have to show to the world that you have some unique qualities. So what you do drawing, but you have to do drawing because as a parent I am drawing, so you also implement the drawing, but you do in your own way, right? So what the kid will do, he will extend the parent and he will implement the drawing in his own way. So that's the uniqueness of that kid. The drawing will be there, but he will implement it his own way. So now here what the child did, he implemented acceleration, braking, reverse, and parking in its own way. So all this automatically has to be there, mandatorily has to be there. If I don't have them, then the JVM will throw an error saying that we already saw that please implement the abstract methods defined by the parent. So now very interesting thing is coming into picture. Now see, now there is an abstract class, right? Abstract class car has 4 abstract methods and one non-abstract method also called main. We can have one more, say for example, public void non-abstract, no non-ABS. I'll give a name and I'll give a body, right? So I'll say SYSO and say non-ABS method. Right now I have a non-ABS method also, right? And 4 abstract methods. What can, is there a question might arise in people's mind? Is there a possibility that a class only has this, only abstract methods? Yes. So a class which has only abstract methods, right, is called interface. Remember that. What is it? Interface. So it has nothing, class, but only will take the abstract methods. So this becomes an interface. Errors will come, no problem. The type in interface must be an abstract class to define the abstract methods. Make type interface as abstract. See? Now, this becomes an abstract class, right? But since all the methods are not having the body, so this is called an interface. Interface is just a class which has methods, but all of them, the methods are abstract. So this becomes an interface. So there in the Selenium hierarchy, if you see WebDriver equal to Chrome driver, right? So WebDriver is an interface, whereas Chrome driver is a class. So WebDriver only tells, I please child class, I have so many non-implemented methods. Chrome driver class, if you are extending me, please implement all my abstract methods. I have only abstract methods. I don't have any methods with the body. So that's the real life example. Selenium API, WebDriver driver equal to, see, WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver, right? So if I do this, I have to first import them because this class import is required. So now, see, now if I see WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. So if I go here, see what it is saying? Interface, right? So interface has so many methods, see, directly saying semicolon. All of the methods don't have any body, any implementation. All of them just with semicolon, just with semicolon. These are something else. These are interface handlers. So don't worry about them, but see the methods. See the methods. Whatever methods in interface will not have the implementation, right? So what is the difference between abstract class and interface? Abstract class may have abstract methods and may have concrete methods, but interface will only have abstract methods. No other things, only the template. Okay, these many name of the methods and the return type and the parameters it takes. Nothing else. So simply interface is a class not having any implementation. So WebDriver is an interface and Chrome driver, what it does now, see here, if I highlight, it will go, let's go up. Where is the class here? This is a class, Chrome driver, and extends remote WebDriver. So WebDriver also, see WebDriver also, where is that? WebDriver also implements, extends the interface, extends search context, and search context is the base. Search context is the base of our Selenium API. So there is nothing inside this. Only one methods, find element and find elements by. So WebDriver is an interface and your Chrome driver is a class which extends. Chrome driver is a class which extends WebDriver. And since WebDriver also, where is it? WebDriver implements remote driver, so Chrome driver also extends remote driver. So remote driver, and so there is a hierarchy. So first will come search context, then it will come remote driver, then it will come Chrome driver, and then we'll have WebDriver. So WebDriver extends WebDriver. It extends the remote WebDriver. Remote WebDriver extends the search context. So the Chrome driver class extends this remote WebDriver instead of WebDriver, right? So the core idea what I am telling is the abstract classes and interface. Interface will have only the non-body methods, but classes can have non-body methods. Abstract class can have non-body methods and also methods with some implementations, right? We already saw that. So if you see the differences now, see there are so many differences. I was just seeing and I noted down the speed. See now the speed of interface is slow. Reason is it is only, so now what happens is driver equal to new Chrome driver, right? We wrote that line. So when we execute a program, right? So what it will do, it will go to the WebDriver interface first, right? And then again, it has to go to the child class remote WebDriver to find the implementation. There is a routing. But if I see Chrome driver class, abstract class, what it will do? It has its own implementation. So directly call them. Got it? So there is no routing involved. So remember that. Child class, parent class. So parent is interface, right? Because it does not have body. So when executing remote driver equal to new Chrome driver, it has to go to interface first to find out, oh, there is a method called this name with this name. And then, oh, there is no body inside that. So let's go to the child class where your body is implemented. Then it finds the child class where the body is there and then executes the content inside that body. So that is why the speed is slow. The abstract class has implementation, so it is not going anywhere else. So it is fast. Multiple inheritance. So multiple inheritance is interface implements several interfaces and abstract class only one abstract class. So what do you mean by that? That also is very simple to understand. See, now I have an interface called, so let's define this as interface INF, right? So what it is saying, the public type, okay. So now I've created an interface which has these methods, right? This I will remove. This line was just an example. So I have this interface, right? Now this is the real interface. I have an interface INF which has four abstract methods, right? Now this interface can implement multiple interfaces. Implement, spelling should be correct. Implements, then say WebDriver. Right, so what it is saying, syntax error token implement extends expected, extends, comma. So tell me one more interface name, one more interface, if there is, right? So if in Java, what are the interfaces? So if you have to go to say hierarchy, I'll come back to hierarchy after some time. But there is a hierarchy. This orange color are all interfaces, green are classes. So collection is an interface, right? So sorry, we'll take this collection. So import collection. See, the advantage of interface is it can extend multiple. That's the difference the sheet is telling. So multiple inheritance we can do, implement several interfaces, but abstract class will not be allowed to bring two things from the two classes. So I have this car class. I cannot extend more than once. I cannot extends more than one. So I say I extended one more class called array test, right? Array test, comma, right? So why it is saying create class array test, change to array list, arrays, change to array test selenium, this one, right? So I extended array list test, then I cannot now again go and say Java string. It will completely throw an error. Why? It will say you are allowed to only extend one class at a time. But interface is allowed more than once. Extend WebDriver also, collection also, and you can keep doing this so many times. Right? Advantage. That's the advantage of interface. But our class can only, extra class can only extend one class. It cannot do more than that. Okay. So at this also I'll remove first example I was showing. Right, so interface can extend multiple. So that's a multiple inheritance. You are bringing the property from this also. You are bringing the property from this also. Some properties you methods you want to use from this. Some from methods you want to use from this. So multiple places you are bringing in. But class, abstract class, it does not allow only once. Just remember this. The difference is very simple. Now structure. What is the structure? Interface only has abstract methods, whereas it has abstract and concrete methods both. We all know that, right? We just saw car class has main, right, which is non-abstract method, and other methods are also abstract, right? See, we have these four abstract, but we also have non-abstract, right? So that's the difference. When to use? This is a question. When to use interface and when to use abstract class. So now I told you car as a class, if it sees, okay, I may have kids in future, so I don't want to do implement everything. So I have I may will have BMW in future coming, I may have Kia coming, I may have Mercedes coming, right? So I see some future. So in that scenario, let's see, always should always use interface. So let the kids only decide how to implement it. Whereas abstract class, when it is used to avoid independence. So now abstract class is used because I am not dependent on my parent. I will implement my own implementation. So in such scenarios where I want to implement something on my own, I will use abstract class, right? Now inheritance and implementation, a class can implement, already we told, same repetition. Default implementation. Now what is default implementation? When adding a new stuff to the interface, it is nightmare to find all the implementers and implementation newly defined stuff. So what happens is, when I say default implementation is some implementation I want to give in inherit interface, but that's not allowed because interface will not have any implementation. So we will only leave it to the child class. Okay, child class, only method names I will give you, you only implement it. So in case of abstract class, you can take advantage of the default implementation. Here you can do, I will have some default methods, some default printing, SYSO. By default that will implement, but in interface it will be very difficult. So there is no, only they have put a limitation, only the name of the methods with semicolon. Access modifier, the interface does not have access modifier. Everything defined inside the interface is assumed as a public. Now whether you give this public or not, interface by default is public. Even if you don't give, interface will be public, right? So public is what? Public, there are publics, private, protected. Remember, right? We have access modifiers, which tells who can access these methods. So public means it's a public domain, like internet, right? Gmail, Facebook, all. See, Gmail login, Gmail is an API, remember that. Facebook is also an API. API is what? Collection of variables and methods. So Selenium is also an API. You downloaded a jar here, right? Now if I open this, actually go to jar file, there will be so many classes, right? So those all classes are accessible. But if it was protected or private, we will not get. So that's why some of the programs or tools are licensed. This is free tool. So they are public can access. Anyone are free to access Selenium API. But there are many tools, APIs which take money. The companies will ask for money. So they will make that as private. So what will happen? Only those who pay money will access that. So they will put a condition called private. So that's the difference. Now access modifiers we already discussed. When to use, we already told you. Future enhancements is there, whereas abstract class is independent to be independent from the parent. Data fields, the interface cannot contain data fields. See, the interface only will have methods, abstract methods, but no data variables, no variables only. But non-abstract, abstract class can have data also and methods also. So I can have a main method and then I can have public int x equal to 1000, right? So I can have variables also, abstract class, but interface will not be allowed to have variables, only the methods with semicolon, no body. Remember that. Then multiple inheritance default, a class may implement numerous interfaces. We know that this repetition, implementation, and interface is abstract, so it cannot provide any code. That is also we know. Repetition, access modifier, again repetition, usage, again repetition, defined fields. No fields can be defined. Inheritance already, constructor or destructor. See, this is also important. Constructor or destructor. An interface cannot declare constructor or destructor, but class can have. Class is a class, right? So class will have its own constructor. A constructor is a method which has a name like the class name, same as class name. Say your car class, right? You have a car here. So now if I define a method public car, right? So this becomes my constructor. Don't need to go think about too much. Constructor. So what is a constructor? It's a method, same like the class name. So what it is used, it is generally, I'll tell you, just a hint I will give you. Constructors are, there are default constructors and non-default constructors also. So there are so many other categories also. Constructors are used to give a default behavior. So when I execute this car class, right? So if I have a constructor, this will get executed by default, right? At compile time. And then whatever is there inside this will get executed. So it is generally used to initialize variables, to initialize. So say for example, I have user ID, passwords, I have connection strings, I have some data which I want to initialize and keep it. So for initialization, use for initialization. So they are generally used for initialization of variables like UID, password, connection string. Connection string, I already told you, to connect to a database, we have a connection string, right? Oracle driver dot manage dot Oracle. Then we have to give the connection string sun dot Oracle. So those all connection strings will come into. So these all type of things, if I want to keep it initialized, I will go ahead and write it. I will declare, say, string UID equal to, say, my username, uname. So such type of things we can do inside a constructor, right? So constructor, that's the use. So what will happen? Class will have constructors, but inheritance will not have any constructors or destructors, right? Then we have limit of extension. It can extend any number of interface. I already showed you. Say WebDriver also it is able to. Then collection also, right? Then abstract class can extend only one class. Abstract keyword we need, right? We always have to have abstract. Interface is optional for declaring a method as an abstract. So now when I have an interface, I told you, whatever I do, if I don't give the body, by default, these methods are abstract. I can just give the return type and the parameter it takes. So if your here interface is coming, then if you don't give this public abstract, by default it will be public and abstract. Okay, but for our reference, I'm just showing it to you. These words are not required. So earlier, I mean to say Java earlier versions, I used to force that, but now they have given that. Now class type and interface can have only public abstract methods, right? Interface will only have public abstract methods, and abstract class can have both concrete also and abstract also, right? So clear? Any doubts? This is like one of the question which will come in interview. So remember that abstract class and interface, and it is the basic principle of Java. One of the basic principles of Java. The whole Java also is an API, right? Selenium is an API. API is what? Application Programming Interface. So Java is an API, Selenium is an API, or any other tool you go. Everything is an API. What developers do, they write the code, right? And they bundle it together in one folder. So what that folder is now, how do I send it to over internet? I cannot send it as a folder because it will take a lot of memory space. So they put it in a jar file. Jar is a concept where you compress them, where you compress the memory, and 10 MB of data will get decreased to 1 MB. So now it is easy to send 1 MB of data over the internet, right? It will consume less network. So that jar file is available in our Maven dependencies, right? We have seen that. Where is it? Right? So if you go here, see all the jar files are available here. All those APIs, these all are APIs, right? Packages, different names they have, packages, APIs, jar files. So all this Selenium, right? Chrome driver, Edge driver, they have written different. So when I put a Maven dependency in pom.xml as Selenium, it will download so many jars continuously. See. So these many jars files or APIs get downloaded and it gets stored under Maven dependencies. So that's the way this is called a build process. Right. So now what I was talking about jars. So now what the development team developed the code, put it in a folder, right? This is putting in a folder is called deployment, right? Now compressing that into a jar file is called building, right? So it build that. Now that jar file is available for public. If it is a public API like Selenium, it will be available on the internet. You go to Selenium HQ or selenium.com. It will be, the download button will be there. You download that jar, add to Eclipse, or go to pom.xml and mention the dependency. Automatically, when you save that, Eclipse tool itself will download and put it. So this is how the development team will write the code, deploy, and build it. So the jar file is available to us. Now I can import that. So see, if I import everything, then again memory will be taken more. So I only need to import whatever I want. So I want only Chrome driver class. I want only WebDriver interface. I only want collections. So all inside that folder also there will be so many classes, right? Like we have written in our, see, so many classes during training, right? At least 5-6. So these all 5-6 classes, if I don't need, I only want to work on array list, right? So I will import only this class. Why do I need to import the remaining ones? So that is why we only import whatever we want. I can use, see here, everyone, I can use this also, java.util.star. So what it will do, if I save this, it will download everything from util package. Java.util package is a huge package, okay? Everything is there inside that util package. Dates, strings. So, right, everything is inside util, right? So if I say java.util.star, it will download everything which is not required. So what I don't want that. I just want collection. So I will only download collection, right? Like that. So these import statements also you should understand what are these. These are the classes and interfaces which we want to use in our program, in our class, So if I have to work with Chrome driver, I will import Chrome driver. If I have to work with WebDriver, I will import the WebDriver. And now since, see, interface, I don't, this yellow color, some marking is coming. It is saying this has never been used. So what we have to do? Control D, and Selenium WebDriver also, right? So here we are using it, so it is not showing error. So now I will remove this too and save it, right? Extends, I will not extend anything. So just my plain interface. So now it will start showing, okay, this is also not used. So control D, right? So whatever you don't want to use, don't keep it. Why reason is, during compilation, those all again files get downloaded, get referenced. Download will be there, it will get referenced. They will keep ready one uh, control to read anything from that location. So it will take some memory, some processor speed. So never do that. So we have learned about interface and abstract class. Let's jump to the next one. Any questions you have in abstract class and interface? No one is talking. Any questions you have? You should talk, guys, at least. Say you understood. Am I being fast? Some feedback if I get, I will improve, right? Gangadhar, yes, you're saying something.
Yeah, no questions.
No questions? I should go still slowly, more slow for the rest. Prashant, Rahul, Pavan,
No
Ashwini.
question.
No questions? You are understanding?
Yes, sir. Little bit.
Okay. Hope you guys are not sleeping. I am talking and you guys should not feel lazy and feel sleepy. I know these are little things, but very important. Very, very critical for your interviews in future, which are going to come, right? So be little alert. Just see, take Java as a, what do you say? Is your, I mean to say, pet. You play with your pets, right? Whether cats or dogs. So if you take as a scary dog, you will not go near that pet. But take that as a good pet, right? A playful pet. So you will feel interested to go and play. Like that, you should take Java. Java is not complex. Java learns bit by bit. I'm also not 100%, right? There are so many Hibernate concepts in Java which has come recently, right? 5 to 7 years back. I also don't know about Hibernate. But from an automation engineer point of view, core Java, out of that core Java, very few things we will be using. See, till now, in our lessons, whatever we did, how many things we used? Did we use interface? No, we never created an interface. We just extended WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. Only one reference variable we got driver because that is referencing to WebDriver interface. That's it. We are not using interfaces concepts. We are not using abstract class concepts. We are not using anything. But you should be aware of those things. Why? Because it makes you it makes you have control. Oh, I know this. I know, yeah. So WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver, interviewer will ask you 100%. What do you mean by WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver? What do you mean by public static void main? Right? Every class we are having this. Public static void main. They will ask you, tell me what is public, what is static, what is void, and what is main. They will ask you, public is the method access modifier, anyone can access. Static is the static method. Static method is a method which what is static method? No object is required to call this static method. So main, I'm directly executing, right? I don't need an object to execute main. Void, I don't return anything. Main, name of the method. String argument, it takes a name of string argument. So it is a string array. So they will ask you, so be ready. Similarly, they will ask you about abstract class and interface. What is the difference? Abstract class is a class which may have methods with body and without body. Interface will not have body at all. That's it. Nothing else. Give an example during interview. Car. I will declare car as interface. I will declare WebDriver as interface. I will only give the name of the methods, the parameters and the return type. I will not tell what to do with those methods. So child class, which implements the Chrome driver, is a child class. So it is implementing WebDriver interface. So child class has the liberty, freedom to implement their own methods, their own whatever methods defined by the parent. Now, how they do it, how you implement those methods is left to the child, right? So child class will implement all the methods given by the parent. Parent will only say, okay, I have 20 methods, please implement it. So that's a rule that the Java has provided, saying that the parent interface, the child class extending the parent interface, has to force mandatorily implement all the methods, right? So that's how it is. That's it. There is no complexity. Got it? So interface, we are done. Abstract class, we are done. Let's move ahead to sorting. Okay, well, before that, there is one more interesting thing, string buffer and string builder. So string buffer and string builder. So we had, remember, string class. Just now we studied 2-3 days, right? String was a class, right? Very important. So many human communication we store in form of sequence of characters called string, right? So they have so many methods, add method, add to reverse a method, to replace. So many methods were there in the string class. So let's go and open that string, Java string class. See, so many, right? Trim, substring, starts with, replace, two character array, strip, last index of, all these are available on inside string. But remember, uh, when we were reversing, right? When we were reversing, so if I go to the reverse class here, remember we were trying to use string buffer yesterday, I think. Yes, string buffer, it already has a method called reverse, right? We don't need to implement this whole loop, the traditional approach. So that is why string buffer and string builder were introduced to remove some of the limitations which a string class has. So what are those now? So we will just create a sample class, string buffer versus string builder. So let's play with it now. So we have a class called string buffer versus string builder. We'll see what's the difference, what difference it does. Say I have a class called string city, or say some string b equal to madam, right? I will reverse it using string buffer now. So what I will do, I will create I'll just copy paste from the string class. We already have it. It will be a little faster. Where is that? Reverse. So we already have it, right? Bring it here. So instead of ORI, I have B now. So string buffer B equal to new string buffer B. So I'm passing the B string inside this. Now, what it does, it provides methods now to work on my B, madam. So I want to say append. What I want to append? Yes. What it will do? What it is saying here? Duplicate variable. Here also B I am giving, so I will do D. It was duplicate, right? So now I created a string madam, and then I created a string buffer object called B, which is taking this string madam inside it, and then B dot append S. So what will happen? SYSO. So I was just showing you, print the D. D will print madam, and then SYSO print B. B. So what will happen? See, go to console and see. The first one is the core original string madam, but I appended. Append means adding at the end, right? So it went and added S, right? So it becomes madams. Madam and madam. So what I'm trying to say is, this string buffer class which they have introduced in Java a little late, I think 1.5 onwards or 1.2 onwards, I think. So they provide additional features which were not there in string. D dot. See how many methods? Append itself has so many types. Integers you can append, long you can append, string you can append, string buffer itself you can append, right? Capacity, right? Character add, characters, please delete. So you want to delete now that as I can use delete. Then you have hash code, index of, insert. Then don't need to use any one of these, because in automation we will not use so much. Only sometimes to reverse a string we will use it. Length, right? To reverse. Now to reverse. So what it will do? It will do reverse of the string directly. So now if I print B, what will do? First we'll print normal D, because that's the original string. Now I have appended S, and after that I am reversed also. So it is doing the MADA-MS, right? Because already I had one S here. Run it. So MADA-MS, right? So this is how string buffer is. And then there is another class called string builder. Same. No difference at all. But only thing is the way they handle memory and efficiency is different. Builder. String builder G equal to new string rebuilder. Okay, so I am taking the same methods now. So G dot append. See, everything is same. So I am putting, this is builder. So I will put builder. Here I will append buffer. So just to have difference, right? And then I will reverse. Semicolon, then G dot reverse. Right. So if I execute, the same results I will get. But I did not put string SYSO, so it's printing only the buffer part. Builder part also I need. So here the string is D, and then I have to put G here. That's the difference. So if I run this, what will happen? Same results. Did you see? No difference at all. Builder, buffer, both are same. I mean to say, buffer and builder, right? Only difference between string buffer and string builder is string buffer is synchronized. So this string buffer is synchronized. What do you mean by synchronized? Means thread safe. What do you mean by thread safe? Right? Means at one given point of time, only one object will access string buffer. Whereas at any given point of time, this is non-synchronized. Any number of objects, synchronized, non-synchronized. So at any given point of time, any number of objects will access the string builder object, right? So this is the difference, the core difference. One is synchronized, one is non-synchronized. Synchronized means, for see banking applications and all, banking applications should not use string buffer. See there, see how it is coming into picture. So Java has developed, but there is an intention behind it. String builder object, we have created B, right? It can be accessed only by one object at a point of time. But the same string builder G can be accessed by any number of objects at a given point of time. So banking applications, I have my account, right? My account balance is, number is 123, balance is 1,000 rupees. And I allow multiple people to access that bank account at the same time. What will happen? One person will just see the balance, not do anything. Fine, that's fine. But another person, second person, can go and add some amount to that account. Third person might go and withdraw some amount from my account, right? If he has access to, only access. Remember that this account is not about hacking. We are not talking about hacking, but we are talking about those who have access to the account. If multiples are given at a point of time, processor, this is all based on the JVM and the processor, communication between the JVM and the processor. So JVM, if it allows multiple objects to access the account, what will happen? Inconsistency will happen. One person is seeing the balance but no effect, so it will not affect. But the person who is depositing in that account will change the balance. Now balance will increase, but at the same time someone is withdrawing. So from suppose there was 1,000 rupees, someone withdrew 1,000 rupees, right? Another person also trying to withdraw 1,000 rupees. Now already that has become zero, right? Now he was thinking, I had 1,000 rupees, I am also withdrawing 1,000 rupees or 500 rupees. Where is the money gone? So lot of inconsistency will happen if you allow string buffer to be used in banking application. So banking applications will not use string buffer because that is not threads. That is string buffer should be used because that is thread safe. It allows only one object. But string builder, it is any number of objects. Go and play with, go and manipulate the instance of the class of properties. So they will change the balance, they will change the amounts, they will change the anything they want to do with that account. So for efficiency, if you want to see, so in which case you have to use string builder. String builder is whenever where there is only some amount data to be displayed, like for example Twitter, will the user go and edit any other comments? No, right? So he is only going to see the comments, right? So in such cases, we need more because lot of users are commenting in Twitter. So lot of users are commenting. So lot of processing speed and efficiency we need. So in that scenario, string builder will be used. Whereas string buffer is for safety. Wherever we want safety, where we don't want many people to access, like banks or any scientific applications, where only limited people should be allowed, only one object should be allowed at any given point of time. So those type of time we should use string buffer. And I will show you now. I wrote a small snippet also how performance also matters. Why builder is faster? Because it is not thread safe, right? So it is. We will just copy paste this and I will show you the time taken by string builder and string buffer. I'll remove this. Okay, so main is already there. So this also I will remove. Class also there. So all these errors, never get scared. So this is how your performance will measure. Now there is a main method. Now I took the time, current time, okay, local time. I'll note down the start time. Then I created a string buffer object and I pass one string called Java. And then on that Java, I will append Bangalore. How many times? 10,000 times. And I will print the total time taken. Same thing, right? I will again collect the start time for builder. And again, same thing Java, I will append for 1,000 times for Bangalore behind Java. And then I will print the time. See, what is the time taken by buffer here and what is the time taken by string builder. So did you understand this program? There is a main method, entry point of the application. I have taken the time. Don't worry how it has been taken. Don't worry. Just this is time, like noting down the starting time, stopwatch, right? Noting the starting time. This is a stopwatch, you can say. Then I created a string buffer object, right? We know string buffer is a thread safe, synchronized. So I'm passing one Java string, and then I'm having a small loop to append 10,000 times Bangalore behind Java. Java, Bangalore, 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 Bangalore. It will keep appending for 10,000 times, right? And then I will print that time, total time taken, right? Don't worry about this is total time. I'll explain you if you want to understand these things inside also. System dot current milliseconds. These are all the inbuilt methods of Java which gives the time. So don't worry. Total time by buffer. Right now, again same thing I'm repeating. This is the starting time for builder. Starting time for builder. I'm just trying to show you how the buffer and builder behave. String buffer and string builder. And then same thing I'm repeating, creating a builder object and appending Java behind Bangalore. Same thing. See, operation is same. Append Bangalore behind Java 10,000 times. Here also 10,000. Here also 10,000. Just see this, right? So we will, and then I'm to this final time, this total time by builder, total time by builder. So let's execute. Okay, what it will print. See what happened. String buffer took 2 milliseconds and string builder took only 1 millisecond. So there is a 100% difference. Half time it is taking. So complex applications, right? Scientific applications or banking applications where there are like our personal accounts, obviously we go to ATM sometimes, but Reserve Bank of India, right? How many deposit and withdrawals it is getting, you know, in all the bank accounts? More than a billion in 1 minute. More than a billion. A billion means more than 100 crore inserts, withdrawal, and deposits are happening every minute. 1 billion. So for them it matters. For my personal account, I am going to ATM once in a week or every day once or once in a month. Some people are not going nowadays. I am not going because I use UPI. So I don't need to withdraw money. I don't need to deposit money. I do it online, right? But this UPI, just see Phone Pay and Google Pay, WhatsApp Pay, whatever pay, right? They are doing transactions in billions now. Every minute, 1 billion transactions, inserts and withdrawals. Deposits and withdrawals are happening in accounts. For them, right? It is not a personal account, it is the account of people. But they are seeing, they want to analyze. See, RBI always has an eye on the deposits and withdrawal. Because of now there's a news, right? 2000 rupees note have been will be demonetized. So what are people doing? People are going to jewelry shops and they're buying gold and silver. Similarly, so many other people are doing so many other things. So they are investing somewhere, they're buying land. So many transactions RBI is observing. RBI is the governing body. So any transaction more than 1 crore, more than 100 crores, so they have an eye who is doing it. So to track those, they need, right, efficiency, right? They want to see if I am letting Java program to delay, or let it process using string buffer aram se, then what will happen? I may not get hold of people quickly. I want to do it very quickly. RBI has to take action quickly, right? So to keep an eye on all the transactions, RBI will prefer string builder instead of string buffer, right? So this is a small example I gave, but the real life example would be Twitter, Facebook. All these are generating data involved, crores and billions of data is getting generated. Nowadays, it is because of social media. Everything is data. Your pictures, your chat messages, your emails, everything is there going on the server, right? And residing. So when you chat, every word or every sentence you chat also goes to server because you have to have, if you want to see in future, you want to keep a history of what chat I did, right? So string buffer and string builder. String buffer is synchronized, thread safe. So it will not allow more than one object to access at any given point of time. Whereas string builder is little cool type, let it be. But it is should not be used for banking applications or anything where we are concerned, where we think there can be some type of bad activity can happen. In that such scenario, you should not use string builder, but it is very fast, very fast, half the time. This is just sometimes, right, it takes not even milliseconds, nanoseconds. In nanoseconds, string builder will process it. See how fast things are happening. You are appending Java 10,000, Bangalore 10,000 times behind Java. Time taken is only 1 millisecond. You know what is 1 millisecond? Thousandth of a second. In that much time Java is processing. Just see how the speed is. So this is very basic one small program I wrote, but in real life, in Twitter and Facebook, all these messages, chats which are going and storing in server, they need lot of processing speed. How do I increase the speed? Using string builder. Simple. Using string builder, they will process it and they will take half the time. If I use string buffer, it will take double the time, right? So that's the difference of performance between string builder and string buffer. Okay. So I think there are so many other things also. I think today we will not be able to complete. We'll do tomorrow. Collection frameworks, right? Collection framework is also a vast area in world of Java. So this is the tree. These all oranges are interfaces, greens are classes, right? So we'll talk tomorrow. It is a part of the util package, java.util. So java.util is our core. Whatever automation we will be doing, right? So we will be using java.util, and inside that there is so many interfaces and classes which we generally use. But I will highlight whichever we use most. Already we have seen array list, right? We created one array list and then we added, removed. So those are the things we used: array list and linked list, hash table, hash set, and some maps. Sets also. Set also is used. Set will not allow duplicate values, right? So set will also be used sometimes to credit card numbers and all. So credit card number is unique to everyone in the whole world, right? Your social security number, your Aadhaar card, all these will be stored in form of set, because set will not allow duplicate. As soon as you encounter a duplicate person coming with the same Aadhaar number, it will start putting a red signal in Aadhaar UI, UIDI, whatever is that, Nandan Nilkani, right? He heads that department. So they will use sets. So set is used. Why? Because set will not allow duplicates. So all the unique things which has to be unique for all people, they will use set. So we'll talk tomorrow on those lines. Okay, we are good. So revision: static block is a block before the main is executed, right? We have static methods and non-static methods. Static methods we don't need object, but non-static method we need. So there is a question: can static method access non-static variables? And what is the answer? Can static method access non-static variables? No. Answer is clearly no. What is abstract class? Abstract class is a class which has methods, abstract also, concrete also. Whereas interface will have only abstract methods. Then sorting I will do tomorrow. This is also very simple. How I do a sorting of strings. Then string builder and buffer. String builder is a class for working on strings. Buffer also working on strings. This is non-synchronized, this is synchronized. So buffer is synchronized. So buffer is what it is, thread safe. So we should use first security and safety banking applications. Builder is, I mean, it does not care about safety. It is only interested in efficiency. It wants to do things faster. So string builder is used for faster things. And performance we have already seen. It is half the time it took. In one of the example, it took half the time. But sometimes the buffer will take a lot of time, right? Whereas builder will do quickly. Okay, any questions? Did you understand or not? Any feedback for me? I repeat it so many times so that we don't remove it from our memory. Keep them for some time until you get an interview cleared, right? So you have to remember these things. In future, when you get a job or people who are already working, for them also, we can implement these things in our automation code. And those who are looking for jobs, they will have to clear the interviews. So these are the core concepts. The interviewer will ask all of these things for sure, because I take a lot of interviews. I know what automation interview will be, right? So those on those front, only using that experience only, I'm training you guys. So don't forget these things. These are very basic things. Practice at home, half an hour. I told you, every day. If you give more time out of your personal time or office time, it is good. But half an hour, dedicatedly sit and practice the programs. Practice whatever you want, not whatever I'm teaching. If you find, okay, there is something interesting I should learn today, you should practice that. But basic foundation should be good, right? Foundation is your core. How much experience you are. Say, I am having 10 plus, right? But still, foundation is the same. What is Java? What is ArrayList? What is integer? What is float? All this will make you stronger every day. Every day. Your house always is depending on your foundation, right? On its foundation. Like that, any skill set, the foundation is the core basics. So this you have to have. Slowly build it up, no pressure. You will learn, obviously, those who are from non-technical, right? So for them, it might be a little difficult, but practice will help you every day, half an hour only. That's it. Give time, because you have to clear the interviews, right? So for that, you have to give time. So if you don't give time, then you will not be able to clear. So you have to give half an hour time. Half an hour every day, dedicatedly sit and practice one program. Every day, one program. That's it. And today we started 7 days or 8 days back, right? In 7 and 8 days, whatever practice we did will help you in your future, right? In your interviews. So don't think that I have office, I'm very tired. During your office work also, 15 minutes you can take it out and practice one new program. Anything. Take a Java list, play with it. How do I add to a Java array list? How do I remove from a Java list? How do I reverse string in a list? How do I count the duplicates? Small things, right? So practice those things. If you don't encounter errors, means you are not doing anything. So errors are part of life. Just try to resolve them. If anything you are not able to resolve, like very difficult, then come to me. We'll try to help you. Okay. Okay, guys. See you tomorrow.
Okay,
Take
sir.
care.
See you.
Yeah. Bye bye.